Hey everybody, welcome back to another video with Atomic Token Games. I'm Wade Wagner.
And I'm Jake Steppen.
And today we're going to review Moonrakers.
Alright guys, so we're going to hop right into this, but before we do that, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already. We pump out weekly board game content. Be sure to check out our Patreon. We have tons of cool updates and behind the scenes content there. And check out, we got our merch. We got everything down below. Follow our TikTok. We put out a bunch of funny little shorts and different things there. So
you'll see a lot of different game exposure there. You'll see little, we do some little small blurbs on games there. So school's officially out. We're going to be pumping stuff out here soon, getting our schedule going. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So Moonrakers is a deck building and social interaction game. The lore behind Moonrakers is that humanity is putting more of a presence on the moon, and you are the Moonrakers. You are the elite people leading the charge to establish and settle the moon. And so you're trying to be the best Moonraker in order to lead all of the other people establishing a human presence on Mars. And so you're competing with the other players to be the best Moonraker. The way to win the game is to get 10 prestige points. So it's just a race to 10 prestige points. So the way you do that is by you start with a base deck of cards. And as the game progresses, you will complete contracts. And contracts will have a danger level and requirements that you need to complete based on the cards in your deck. So there's different types of cards. There's damage cards. There's miss cards, which don't do anything when you play them, which sucks. There's thruster cards, which let you draw cards. And there's reactor cards, which give you more actions. Every player has one action on their turn, and so you need reactors to do more actions, and then thrusters to draw more cards. And while you're doing that, you're completing requirements. This contract needs 4 thrusters and 3 shields in order to complete that contract. And as you complete contracts, sometimes at the beginning of the game, your deck isn't going to have all that stuff in it. So you have to ask for help and negotiate the rewards of the contract. So say, you help me with this part of the contract, and you're going to take half of the danger, and then I'll split the rewards with you. I get the prestige, but you get the coins or something like that. It's a very interesting negotiation game. I don't think I've ever really played a game like that where you're negotiating mutual benefits, but also trying to benefit the most yourself.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
It reminds me a little bit of Munchkin, where you can kind of work with other people, but you can also say you're going to help and then just not, and so they don't get anything.
It can get backstabby depending on your play group for sure. My dad doesn't play board games. We played with him for the first time, and he had there's a objective, ways that you can get prestige. His objective was to be on a mission that fails. So he's like, yeah, I can help, and then he didn't, and and you can totally choose not to. It's really cool the freedom you have.
Yeah, another cool thing is kind of separate from the deck building is you have a little board that's your ship, and it has spots for ship upgrades, and so there's this little deck of cards. Yeah, you got your little ship, but you can buy these ship upgrades, which do add extra cards into your deck, so it's another form of deck building, but then they all have special abilities and things like that, so you kind of get like 2 areas that you're working on at the same time.
You're making your ship better, making your deck better, and it's really cool. It's fun. So we like it. That's Moonrakers, and we're going to get right into the review. All right, getting into the review. First category, table space and setup. What are we doing?
Okay, so for this one, we give this game a 3. Moonrakers is a pretty average game as far as setting up the game and how much room it takes. There's nothing too crazy. You just, there's the couple different decks of cards. You kind of have to set those out, and each player gets their little ship board and your starting deck.
And they have a space for everything, so you don't have to think about where everything goes. They have... they say, put the crew cards here, put the ship upgrades here, and so they make it pretty streamlined for you. It's awesome.
Yeah, really simple.
Okay, next category, replayability.
Ooh, yeah, so we give this game a 4 out of 5. This game's very replayable. Just the kind of the nice thing about deck building games is even if you get the exact same cards, you're going to shuffle different every time and have, different cards out. There's going to be different missions and different objectives that you get, and so might not even be good to have attack cards this game or whatever.
There's so many variable moving parts.
Yeah, so there's a whole lot of things that kind of make it replayable. Also, the fact that you have to interact with other people means that, you know, you can play with Billy one day and Susie the next day. It's a totally different game.
Yeah, the people that you play with make a huge difference. We had a pretty pacifist game that we played just barely, but some of the early games that I played with this were cutthroat. We're just like, no, I'll go on that mission for 3 coins. You don't have to pay her 4. You know, it was a lot of fun. But there's the contracts are going to be different. You're going to build your ship different. It's going to combo in different ways with the different crew members you have. Different contracts are going to be available, and so and then the people completely change it, and the amount of people change it a lot.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah.
So, 4 out of 5. I think it's very, very replayable.
Yeah.
All right, next category is complexity. What do we think?
All right, so this game we're going to give it pretty average rating of 3. It's, especially if you've played other deck building games, it's a very straightforward game. You build your deck on your turn, you play what you've got in your hand, and you see if you can complete missions. So it's pretty straightforward. Which is awesome.
I mean, I was able to explain it to my dad in like 10 or 15 minutes. That's about it. But yeah, not complex. Super easy to teach to new players. It's a great introduction to deck building games, I think. There's not a lot of triggers that you really have to remember. Sometimes in Dominion, things can get overwhelming when you have to remember all the different triggers and stuff. But this makes it simple, but not replayable. 3 out of 5. Complexity. We like it. All right, strategy. How strategic is this?
Okay, so we give this a 3.5 out of 5. Just slightly above average. And kind of the interesting about this game is it's not so much brain power that you're using, it's more social manipulation that you're trying to do. You're trying to manipulate the people that you're playing with and play off of them because, you know, on your turn, you just look at what you've got in your hand. And then you say, well, okay, you know, these are the missions that are out, so I can potentially do this one, or I'm halfway to that one, and that's when the social part kicks in.
It's cool because on the other turns, you can always be involved. I think that's what's really cool about this game.
That makes it really nice.
You can, as the table goes around, as the turns go around, you're not just sitting there waiting for your next turn. You're like, oh, can I get in on this? Is there a way that I can... even for a minuscule reward, or like, even the cool thing about the deck building is if you get involved in one of the contracts at all, you can discard your hand. So maybe you just want to get in on a contract so that you can draw a new hand and have a good hand on your turn. Yeah. So it's really cool. Strategy, it's 3.5 out of 5, a little bit above average, but it's less brain power, like you said, and more social manipulation, which is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, next one, art style and theme. What are we doing here?
Okay, so we give art style and theme a 4 out of 5. This is definitely one of the strengths of this game. It's really cool to look at.
That's what got me to buy it.
Yeah.
Look at this. It's so pretty.
So cool. Pretty much the only thing that knocks it down from being a perfect 5 out of 5 is just the fact that a lot of the art is like reused. Well, they'll kind of like reuse the same
general asset and kind of change the skin a little bit. You can see on those like cards, but like still the overall like
awesome.
the neon. It's very sci-fi, right? The dark background with the neon lights. It's really cool to look at.
Yeah. So it's super cool, and the theme really comes through, right? It is feel like, man, we're in space, kind of. I'm trying to have the best spaceship and be the coolest spaceman, and
yeah, and the contracts are cool. Like you play shields if you want to do a escape mission. You need to have shields to protect yourself and thrusters to go fast. Like the way you kind of have to dig for that theme a little bit as you get more into it, but it's
there and it's cool
and it's well thought out. Yeah. 4 out of 5. Component quality. What are we doing?
This is Wade's favorite. 4 out of 5 for this one. So this game definitely is above average for us. The star of the show are the coins.
I'll do some coin ASMR. I love it so much.
Yeah, but even so, there's each player has their board. These are nice boards. They're nice, high quality. It's got a glossy finish. I don't know if you can see the little shine on it.
They could have gone so much cheaper with these, but they really chose to do some really nice pieces.
All the cards are high quality.
They have that really good textured backing on it.
Glossy,
it feels really good.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they tried really hard to to have nice quality stuff, which I think kind of goes along with their art style and theme. That is part of having a cool sci-fi feel is fancy things. So they definitely nailed it.
Yeah, and like just the coins. I mean, this goes with kind of art style and component quality, but like they just looks. It looks like a Bitcoin, right? Like it's very sci-fi and awesome. Jake, before we were recording this one, was just like, "Wait, these are the." You didn't upgrade the coins? These are the base game coins? Like, yes, these are the base game coins. I just bought more of them. Yeah. They're amazing. So, yeah, we love it. 4 out of 5 for component quality. All right, last category. How much fun are we having with this game?
We're going to give it a 4 out of 5. This game is really fun to play. And I think for me, right off the bat, first thing I think of that we kind of mentioned earlier is that for a lot of deck building games, between turns, you just kind of sit there and wait, twiddle your thumbs while everybody else plays all their cards and gets through their turn. But in this game, because of the social interaction, because of the fact that, hey, if you want to do that, I can help you and give me this, right? You're constantly engaged, which I think gives a lot more opportunities for it to be fun, and you just kind of like having a good time.
You're sitting around the table. It's one of those games where you imagine game night and everybody's talking and yelling at each other and talking over each other and that's it. But it can also be the peaceful game you want it to be. If you don't like yelling and talking over each other, you can make it very amiable, and you can negotiate very peacefully with everyone and be like, "Oh, cool, now I'm the best." Or you can yell at each other and be cutthroat. It's the freeformness of it is really cool. Like it adjusts to the play group. I feel like,
and you don't even need people to go with you.
No.
Right? We just played a 2-player game, and I kept doing missions by myself. I helped Wade do a mission and did the whole thing myself, which I should.
I was like, sweet, thanks.
But like, you don't need to get other people to help you. It can be very beneficial. So it really can kind of depend on your play group, which it can be a pro or a con, right? Depending on who you play with.
You can really, everybody can just kind of grind to do everything themselves. And I think that adds to the variability and the fun. It just changes.
And it can change based on there's a whole bunch of stuff. But
it's very adaptable.
I think it's a fun game to play. You will enjoy while you're playing.
I don't know what it is. I just like being... I don't know what it is about the whole thing as a whole. It's more than the sum of its parts. Like, I just like having the game on the board and doing it. It's just really fun. Maybe it's just because I like deck building games and sci-fi and space.
Yeah,
and this
is
just all of those.
Yeah, having the theme with there's a lot of cool stuff.
It's fun. So 4 out of 5. It is fun. All right. Overall, what are we giving it?
Okay, we give this game an 8 out of 10. This game is great. Super awesome. There are some games that I would rather play over it, right? If you're giving me a choice, but there's not very many.
No. If this ends up on the table, I'm like, okay, yeah, and then we start playing. I'm like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I love this game. For some reason, it feels harder to put on the table sometimes because you're like, okay, I'm just going to do some contracts and whatever. But it's different every time, and so it's so worth it. Yeah,
I think the only real thing that knocks it down from a 9 to a 10 is the occasional bad playing groups that can happen, right? That the more player interaction there is, the more variability there is in how the game turns out.
If people are, this may not be your game if you're a timid person and you don't want to really assert yourself.
It's like the reason people hate Monopoly is because it's just fighting each other and stuff. So anyways, but overall they've set it up where it really mitigates most of that, right? And it's set up so you could probably win if you didn't do a single thing with anybody else. And so I think it's an awesome game. Super fun. I love deck building. I love the social bit sprinkled in it. I think it works for this game. I don't think it's really a detriment.
It's such a unique mix of social thing. Normally I don't really like social deduction or some social interaction games, but man, it is just so lovingly crafted, and you can tell they play tested it. They checked so much, and it's just so well done. So we love it. It's definitely worth the money. I would go check out their website. They do a great job.
Yeah.
We're excited for their next game that we backed.
Mythic Mischief.
It's
coming in a month or two.
The art style, completely different setting, just as awesome. Yeah. Little plug for Mythic Mischief. We're super stoked for that. Look out for that in a month.
Yeah.
All right, we love Moonrakers. We love talking to you guys about Moonrakers. It is definitely one to look at if you're into sci-fi, deck building, all that stuff. Great one to try out. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. So make sure you're subscribed, guys. Hit that like button. Watch out for our next video. So in our next video, we're going to do our giveaway for Quests of Valeria. You make sure you're subscribed. You like that video. The next one coming out. So, hit that notification bell so you get the notification when it comes out. But make sure you're watching for that one so you can have a chance to win.
It'll be awesome. Thanks for watching.